Well, good evening, and thank you for joining us for the last fixture of this, the first round of the COVID-19 Corsham School Fantasy Football League. Last, but by no means least. Tonight we're at a packed MOD Corsham, formerly Basil Hill Barracks, for what is perhaps the most hotly anticipated matchup of the first round. Pasty United against Kingan's Kippers. An old rivalry, and the ground is full to bursting, not only with spectators of all ages and socio-economic groups, but also the iconic pasty stalls and pie vans that all contribute to making this football ground the great day out for all the family that it is. And there are certainly a lot of those here tonight. With me is Ben Powles, for many years goalkeeper for Bence's Lane. Ben, there can't be anyone left in Potley tonight, can there?
Good evening, Dodsey. Good evening, everyone. And what an evening it is. No, you're right, Dodsey. Looks like all of Potley and Rudlow have turned out tonight to see these boys take on the Kippers, the old rivals. And I can't tell you already how full of pastry I am.
I've got my large traditional pasty in a translucent paper bag here for half-time. You're already tucking into yours, I see, Palsy.
Large chicken and chorizo for me, Paul, and I had a large cheese and onion and a couple of pints of scrumph for starters, so I'm bursting with football gas.
Ben, tell us about this fixture. It's so early in the season, but this is the big one for both of these sides.
That's right, Dodsey. This league has plenty of rivalries, but this is up there with all of them. Pasty United are really the AC Milan of Corsham, drawing in fans from across the area. But for little ends growing up between West Wales and the Quarrymans, whether that's vandalising the Five Ways trading estate at Hawthorne or playing on the railway lines at Potley, this is really the only team you ever want to play for. Kingan's Kippers play at Neston Rec, less than a mile from here, and that's more your traditional village team. Real ale types, wordy beardies, Warhammer bods, swingers groups, Mingus admirers, that sort of thing.
Well, here are the lineups this evening, starting with the home team, Pasty United. I'll read them out, Ben, and you can tell us about them after. So we got Colin Larrigan in goal, and in front of him, the central defender, Daniel Blunsden. Three in midfield, Richard Ogilvie-Robb, Lee Kramer, and the old man, Tommy Laver, in the attacking midfield role. And one centre forward tonight in the shape of Chris Fear. It's a classic Pasty 1-3-1. Kingan's Kippers have gone for 1-1-3 tonight. A very aggressive statement, especially here. Starting with goalkeeper Luke Mortimer, usually a very safe pair of hands. Chris Pearce in defence, and the talismanic bigger boy Craig Fulham running the show in midfield for the Kippers. In front of Fulham are the two wingmen Daniel Derrick and Dominic Wadkin-Snaith, and at centre forward tonight, hunting for away goals, David Sala. Another mouth-watering prospect for you, Ben?
Definitely, Dodsey. I'm looking forward particularly at the permutations of the two 3-on-1s we got out there. For Kingan's Kippers, it's a solid Fulham, who is a hard man, and I don't say that lightly, who's having to handle three opponents in the form of Robb, Kramer and Laver. Laver will sit there in midfield, sometimes literally sit there, and do his distribution magic. He'll be looking to feed the front man, Chris Fear, like a barely mobile zookeeper will throw sardines to an hungry sea lion. And Fear will have his scoring boots on tonight.
You're predicting goals from Fear, Palsy?
Not necessarily, Paul. It all depends.
That's what it usually means when you say scoring boots.
No, Paul, I just mean that he's the centre forward and he's got his football boots on.
OK, that's not what scoring boots means, Palsy, but we digress. And the other 3-on situation you can see?
Yep, that's Blunsden having his hands full with Derek, Wadkin-Snaith and especially Sala. He's got his hands full there as Blunts. We'll see how he digests that, and I've got to tell you, this chicken and chorizo pasty is putting up a fight now, Dodsey.
Well, here come the teams, and the first thing to report is that David Sala has forgotten his kit. He's obviously had to go to the beggar box and he's pulled out, what's that, Ben? A very large polyester Umbro t-shirt and some boxer shorts with a picture of Spider-Man on the crotch.
Yeah, that's a sorry sight, Paul. Sala's forgotten his kit, and that will affect his performance. He's not got his scoring boots on there, Dodsey. He's got some very large trainers on, and they've seen better days and all. The sole on the right foot is flapping a bit there, so I think he's going to struggle to hit the target tonight.
So there's the kick-off. Pasty United playing from left to right as we look at the pitch in their traditional iconic red and black stripes with a picture of a pasty on the left tit. Kingan's Kippers coming the other way as usual with their equally iconic strip of fairy tale pink, lemon yellow and mint green with a full-size heading across the baps. The referee tonight is Howell Evans, the only choice for an occasion as big as this. He's strict, he knows the rules of football and he's on first name terms with all these lads. The home side keeping possession early on. Blunsdon and Rob exchanging passes, setting the pace, both looking to thread a pass through to Lever, who knows how to thread the needle to the front. But Rob finds Kramer instead. Kramer coming forward now, but Fulham deals with it. 3 minutes played, it's back to Larrigan. Larrigan peeps over the trench like a meerkat and he's spotted Blunsdon in space. Blunsdon now. Oh, he's beaten Fulham. Kippers in trouble here. The first front three racing back, but Blunsdon is cantering like a shire horse in the breeze. His hair not moving, looking for fear. No way through. He finds Rob on the near side, who's hit it first time from distance. Mortimer's way off his line and it's in! Unbelievable start for the home side. Richard Ogilvie Rob opens Pasty's account and the visitors haven't touched the ball.
He's hit it very spectacularly, Paul. It might even have been a cross for fear, but he's nowhere near it. And neither's Luke Mortimer, and it's bounced over the line. Rob can't believe his luck.
But
dear.
Hang on. Oh no, well, Richard Rob has been silly there. His celebration run has taken him into the crowd and he is sitting on a man's lap and he's had a swig from his can of, I think it's a can of Leck. That's very silly. And Evans is coming over now to put a stop to this monkey business. And it's a yellow card now. Yep, that was inevitable. Howell Evans takes a very dim view of Richard Rob's picnic celebration. He's talking to him now, saying not to drink during the match, please, especially not from a fan's tinny.
I've got to say, fair play to Tetch, although Paul, he's scored an accidental screamer and he's found himself in the crowd and feeling thirsty, and he's thought to himself, why not?
10 minutes played now, and Kingan's Kippers finding their feet. Pearce from the back finds Fulham with ease, and he is strong, just that bit bigger. He's beaten Kramer. Kramer's struggling in midfield already, and Blunsdon has had to mop up, and that's a bone-crunching tackle from Blunsdon.
We've heard it before, Dodsey, but that is the Rolls-Royce of defence there in Blunsdon. The man is a hungry horse, and Fulham has just provided the nose bag.
Throw-in to Kingan's Kippers, and they are using the long throw of Daniel Derrick. He's launched it high. Salah won't get there. Watkins Snaith does, and it's just past the angle of the crossbar. No dice for Snaith.
Larrigan was beaten though, Paul. He was nowhere near it, and that was very nearly the equaliser.
17 minutes now played. Blunsdon back in possession and he has absolutely shrugged Salah to the ground. Salah's still down, his confidence clearly damaged by the Spider-Man pants. And Blunsdon still has it, looks for Kramer. Kramer just reaches it. Derrick and Fulham bearing down on him, but he's passed it into Lever's zone and Lever sits back in the chair and looks to steer it to Rob, who's making a run on the outside. Pearce follows Rob, but Lever's found Fear and it's an easy finish. The pass from Lever made it and Fear makes it 2-0 to the home side. Pasty United. Mortimer is livid with Pearce. It was followed Rob's run and left Fear completely unmarked. It's unlike him.
Yeah, Pearce is the last line of defence and he can't afford to lose his head like that. I don't know whether he hadn't seen Fear or what, but let's talk about Lever. The pass is inch perfect. Mortimer's caught in two minds and Fear's left with a simple tap in at the near post. It's 2-0 inside 20 minutes and the Kippers are in real trouble now. They need to come up with something before half time or it's going to be a quiet night at the Neston Country Inn.
22 minutes played now. And Kingan's Kippers need to find some composure. Mortimer is still berating Chris Pearce, who is looking pretty browbeaten, I must say. Pearce takes possession anyway and punts it long, looking for Daniel Derrick, and that is straight into touch. Derrick applauds above his head. It was perhaps sarcastic, because that was, well, it was awful. The throw is taken quickly by Blunsdon. 23 minutes played. Kramer controls. No, he doesn't. Kramer's lost it. Bad touch from Kramer, and Watkins Snaith takes it from him. It's candy from a baby, I'm afraid. The Kippers are in space. Snaith is in space. He finds Salah. Salah's borrowed trainers flapping. He won't shoot. Instead, Salah back to Watkins Snaith. The old 1-2. United are exposed here. Blunsdon is outnumbered. Snaith blasted into the... And Daniel Derrick has scored. Snaith has pooned one into the corridor of uncertainty. Blunsdon was he nutmegged even? Rob couldn't get to Derrick, and well, in fairness, it's a hell of a finish from Daniel Derrick. He's absolutely leathered it. First time from no more than 8 yards out, and the goalkeeper Colin Larrigan, well, Larrigan just tries to protect his family jewels. Big smile from Daniel Derrick, and Kingan's Kippers are back in the game. Pasty United 2, Kingan's Kippers 1, the home crowd silenced. With 45 minutes played now. No more than a minute to go until half-time, and Kingan's Kippers really looking for that equaliser, and it don't matter how.
The Reds are up now, Paul, aren't they? You can just feel it going their way a bit. Pasty United very much on the defensive now. They just need to hold on till half-time. And I'll tell you what, the Kippers
Sorry to cut you off, Palsy. Fulham is coming forward again for the Kippers. Pasty United rattled. Fulham looks to the wings. Kippers outflanking Blunsdon in every way here. And Fulham's got options. He's gone for Derrick on the left wing, who gathers smartly with the long barrier. It's got time here. Knee on the ball, hand on the tiller. Derrick looking for Salah in the red shirt and Spider-Man pants. Salah's in space and Blunsdon has been left standing. Salah just needs to connect. Oh, he's completely missed the ball. It was right in front of goal. And Salah is on his back, starfish fashion, and face like he's had a kidney removed in a Shanghai slum. That's very embarrassing for the lad, and if he hasn't suffered enough, the ball rolls harmlessly past Pasty United's corner flag. What a chance, Ben.
That would have been levelsies, Paul. 2-2 going in for half-time and the Kippers on top, but Salah has blown it, and he looks right Charlie, doesn't he?
The whistle goes for half-time. Pasty United baked and sweaty, but out of the oven for now. Kingan's Kippers kicking themselves in the kidneys. They're capable, but in areas not completely competent, and conscious of it. The second half kicks off then, and the Kippers immediately in possession with Pearce. Long ball forward, and this time he does find Derrick. Derrick blocked, no way through Blunsdon, and it's back to Fulham, who's looking wider. This time for Watkins Snaith, who's looking for Salah, but Blunsdon cuts him off.
Blunsdon's everywhere this evening, Doddsy. He's blocked Derrick on one wing, and no sooner can you say Black Rat, he's across to harass Watkins Snaith. The man isn't just a Shire horse tonight, Doddsy, he's the whole stable.
But United still looking unstable at the back, where Kingan's Kippers have a lot of possession. Derrick comes across for the long throw again. Kippers looking hungry. Watkins Snaith gathers, he's found Salah here. Salah drags to one side, Larrigan is down, and Salah dinks it over, and into the... Blunsdon has blocked it! Oh dear, he has clearly handled the ball on the line. Salah appeals for the penalty, that's Stonewall anyway, and Evans is coming over, and there's only one outcome here.
Yeah, Salah beats Larrigan with some fancy flapping footwork, Larrigan swallows it, and the goal's empty, Paul. All he has to do is bury it, but he goes for the dink, the goal's inevitable, and Blunsdon's the last man on the line, and he's stuck his hand out plain as day. He's the last man, the goal's inevitable, and Evans has no choice. Well, Evans shows Blunsdon the red card. The home crowd are booing, but there's absolutely no argument there, and it's a penalty to Kingan's Kippers. High drama, Ben. High drama at the start of the second half, Paul. We're only 3 minutes in. Blunsdon's taking his time to leave the field. He knows what he's done. There's no arguing with Evans, and he's kicking himself. Pasty United on the ropes now. They're down to 5 men. They've lost their talismanic central defender. Richard Robb or Lee Kramer will drop to fill the space, but neither is any replacement really. And Kingan's Kippers have the penalty to equalise.
Salah will take it himself. Perhaps a surprise there. You'd have thought that Craig Fulham, the bigger boy, might be safer than Salah, who's wearing trainers from the beggar box, don't forget. But Salah has insisted and he's lining it up. 50 minutes played of this match. Salah against Larrigan to make it 2-2. Salah runs in, saved! Larrigan saves, and he's straight up, punts it long and Fear's under it, Fear heads it back to Lever, volleys, Screamer! Tommy Laver scores a blinder without really moving from the spot, and Pasty United are 3-1 up.
Unbelievable goal, Paul. Laver stood there the entire match like he's directing traffic. Larrigan's blasted it up the middle. Fear's done all the work there. He's chased under the hanging ball, headed it down into Laver's lap, right into the basket, and with surprising accuracy. And Laver's just swung the right ham, and he's caught it sweet as a nut right on the laces. It's looped over Mortimer, and that is 3-1.
Blunsdon is back on the field celebrating with Laver, who still hasn't moved. And what do you say, Ben? It looked like a moment of madness from Daniel Blunsdon, but he's kept his side ahead. The resulting penalty is saved, and seconds after losing, their totem pole central defender, 5-man, Pasty United, are 2 goals ahead. And you've got to feel for the Kippers, haven't you?
You have, Paul. They've had the run of things since before half-time. They've got the one-man advantage, and now they find themselves further behind. It's heartbreaking for the Neston boys.
Never mind quiet at the Neston Country Inn tonight, Ben. They may as well demolish it. I haven't seen the barracks bouncing like this since the wrecking ball came to the Flamingo.
And it's only going to get harder for the Kippers now. They've got the one-man advantage, but with this lead we can expect United to park the bus.
50 minutes played, and already you can see, Palsy, what Pasty United are doing. Rob, Kramer and Fear have dropped back to form a 3-man defensive line where Blunsdon once stood, leaving Laver, who still hasn't moved, alone in midfield. There is clearly no intention of going for a 4th goal. They just need to concede no more than 1 goal at most, and I think we can expect a very defensive 40 minutes from Pasty United. Well, 15 minutes to go now, and the pace has dropped considerably. Still 3-1 to Pasty United. Kingan's Kippers knocking on the door, but United's defensive line is soaking up everything and punting it forward to Laver when they can. But Laver could not look less interested, and Mortimer gathers again. Long punt down the field again to Derrick. Derrick back to Fulham. He strikes, but it's over the crossbar safely, and Larrigan will kick it aimlessly back into the Kippers' half of the field.
Yeah, soul-destroying stuff now, Dodsey. The Kippers can't get near the box, and Pasty rebuff everything. The bus is not just parked, but the wheels have been taken off and thrown in the river.
We enter the final minute now. Can Kingan's Kippers find a way through for at least a late consolation goal? Watkins Snaith in possession. Looks to take it past Fear, who's just caught him there. Snaith goes down, and it's a free kick to Kingan's Kippers, 30 yards out on the left side. Pearce comes over to take it. One last throw of the dice for the Neston boys in the pastel tones. Everyone's in the box. Even Mortimer is up now. Even Laver has made the journey back. Sala standing out in his beggar box clobber, but Derrick and Fulham probably the target men. Pasty United at a distinct height disadvantage without Blunsdon. Laver, Kramer and Ogilvie Rob very much in the shadows, the 3 of them, with Fulham and Derrick bearing down on them like a couple of invasive Leylandi. Fear is having to compete in the air on the right of defence. So Pearce here, signalling the charge, running up, but it's far too close to Larrigan, who claims it with the gardening gloves, punts it long with his little leg, and there's the whistle for full time. Pasty United have held out. A game of 2 halves, Ben.
Yeah, Pasty United scored early through Rob and then through Fear. Kingan's Kippers took one back on 23 minutes but couldn't find a second before half-time. And then the second half, it all went to shit, didn't it, Dodsey? Blunsdon saw red, Sala missed a penalty, and Laver from range arched home what turned out to be the fatal arrow in the face. And after that, United parked the bus, locked the gate, and the Kippers weren't strong enough to penetrate. I thought Salah was poor today, Paul. Granted, he's forgotten his kit, and that has had a big effect on his performance, so let's hope he remembers it next time.
Full time here at Basil Hill Barracks then, and Pasty United have claimed full bragging rights over their old Neston rivals, Kingan's Kippers. They've beaten them squarely, though perhaps not entirely fairly, and done so with 5 men for most of the second half. Pasty United 3, Kingan's Kippers 1.